To Sharpshooting with Sean Ellis, where the ball never stops bouncing. We're talking hoops, hustle, and everything in between, breaking down the game as they happen on the court. All right, start live at 7. Well, 3 weeks in, guys, it's been a pretty competitive season. I think that through 3 weeks, there's been a lot of highs and lows, but what I found out more than anything else, nobody's quite separated themselves from the pack quite yet. But we do have a new king who's fighting for the crown, as Cellulus has put in his bid as the top team, as they are now 3-0. And that's after they beat Lightwork 90-81 in the first game of the night. Cellulus snaps their 13-game winning streak of Lightwork. Lightwork had been running through the league. They were coming off a season where they went undefeated. They've been to 5 straight finals. The team that last beat them is actually back in the league this season, trying to retain the crown, as they were never knocked off the heel. So it's really set up some really interesting matchups, especially these last couple of weeks. But Lightwork took their loss to Cellulus. Beautiful game, beautiful game. I want to say Lightwork didn't play bad. It wasn't a thing about them playing bad or doing anything wrong in this game in particular. Cellulus just played really, really well. Starting off with Josh, man. Josh was dominant. Yes, Josh, probably our defensive GOAT, was a man possessed. He had 4 blocks. Obviously, he did what he did, changed numerous shots. But the dude had 20 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. Dude was playing like a madman. And do you think that it had a little bit to do with the fact that he used to play for Lightwork? Maybe, just a little bit, probably. And he showed that he's the best big man in the league right now. Hate to say it, Rob. Rob, you weren't there, so it's partially your fault. But he destroyed Lightwork, and he's the number one reason why they won this game. Now, saying all that to say, Mitch still had a Mitch-type game. He was efficient, 8 of 16 from the field, had 23 points. Josh obviously had the 20-point on 8 of 12 shooting, and he was 4 for 6 from the free throw line. Like I said, dude was playing on his mind. Reggie did his thing where he had 18 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. And my guy, Khalid Mateen, he had a quiet night with 17 points, if you want to call that a quiet night. But again, it was a well-rounded game. Again, you have 4 guys in double digits like that. 2 of them score over 20. That's a recipe for a win. But I'm saying all that to say, Lightwork played well themselves. Like I say, AD, who's quietly having a really, really good season. He had 19 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Shug with 15 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists. Do have triple-double. Do have triple-double, and they lost. To tell you how well this game was played, Alex with 17 points and Mike with 14 points. Well-played game. It was just nip and tuck all the way. And then in the fourth quarter, Cellulus was able to kind of about mid-third quarter, going into the fourth, Cellulus was able to kind of pull away and kind of create some distance. And that's why they've kind of created some distance when it comes in the standings as well, as now they are the only undefeated team. But they'll have a nice matchup this week, and we'll see what happens. Now, moving on. Oh, Paul also had 13. That's another thing. Paul had 13 points as well. They had 5 guys in double digits. 5 guys in double digits. Paul had 13 points. That was like their bench guy, even though he didn't come off the bench this game. Had 13 points, still can pull off a win there. So it's going to be very interesting to see how all this turns out. Now, last game, like 10 o'clock game, was all there versus God options. We had an 0-2 team playing against a 2-0 team, but you couldn't tell on the court. It really started with Jarvis. Jarvis was the key to this game. He played really, really well. It's not even that he's played out of his mind. He's just a veteran. He understood what he needed to do. He shot when he needed to shoot. He played defense when he needed to play defense. He passed when he needed to pass. He rebounded when he needed to rebound. And he pretty much led them to that win. Well-played game by him. And like I said, he was kind of the catalyst for everything that kind of happened for the team. Got options. Had a good game from Tre. I think Tre had 16 points, 7 rebounds, I want to say 6 assists. Jeff had a 20-point game, 5 rebound, 4 assist game. Guys really kind of got in where they fit in. DJ had 3 points. Chris York had 5 points, 5 rebounds. But it wasn't quite enough. And, oh, yeah, my guy Joe. Joe had 19 points as well and hit 3 threes. But it wasn't quite enough. And like I said, Tre's been playing at a all-star, all first team MVP level through the first 2 games. And going to this game, he didn't play bad this game either, but I think he has played at a really, really, really high level every single week to give him the best opportunity to win every single game. And I don't know if we got that from him this particular game. And, you kind of saw it on the floor. And every time God options got close, Jarvis usually had an answer, and you can see on the score, every time they got within 3, every time they got within 4, he kind of made a play and pushed that lead right back up, and that's why we are where we are right now. So they ended up they have a 1-2 record going into next week with a very favorable matchup, I think. We'll see what happens. So, but our late game was the Hip Hop and Roll. Oh, this was the 9 o'clock game. Hip Hop and Roll versus Team Vibes. Great game, but not really. Team Vibes started this game down 16-0. They were down 16-0. To their credit, they fought back and got back in the game. Like I said, Rio had a fairly decent game. He had 22 points on 8 of 19 shooting. Carrington also chipped in with 18 points on very efficient 8 of 12 shooting. But Hip Hop and Roll had a point to prove. They did not like, and by the way, Kevin wrote this article. It wasn't me. They did not like the article that Kevin wrote the week before saying, down goes Hip Hop and Roll, down goes Hip Hop and Roll, after they also got their streak broken of 13 straight games as well. And maybe that's the thing, 13, 14 games, that's kind of the max. You get 13, 14 games, you got to lose. But they kind of went in there in a very, very close game, and they lost down to the wire to Hollywood last week. They came in this week looking for blood. They felt some type of way about the article. They felt like the league kind of forgot about them, which, we haven't. But, there are a lot of new people, a lot of new groups, a lot of new players in the league. So you have to give people a healthy reminder, and they definitely did that this game. After mid-third quarter, destroyed them. They just absolutely destroyed Team Vibes. Like I say, it started off 16-0. Team Vibes did a great job fighting back into this game, like I said, but like midway through the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter, they just kind of took off, and there was no looking back after that. So shout out to them. Of course, Chase did what he did, 33 points on 12 of 20 shooting, very efficient, 8 of 13 from the three-point line. Yeesh, it's tough, man. It's tough. And then my guy Rose with a big game with 24 points, snagged 10 rebounds of himself, played very, very well. And then Aziz, the big fella. I really like our league, man, because we got legit big men in this league, especially this season. Guys who really get down there, guys who bang, and he had a great performance of 13.7 rebounds. And if he got more touches, because he's very, very efficient from the field. He went 6 of 7 from the field. He got more touches. He probably is looking like Josh numbers, those 20 and 13 rebounds. So get that guy some touches, man, because can't nobody deal with him down there. Also, in the last game of the night, actually it was the 8 o'clock game, B&O played Hollywood. Now, Hollywood was coming off a great game where they knocked off and broke Hip Hop and Roll's winning streak. Came in here. They were out scooter, but they have more than enough to really kind of get ahead. Like I said, Shaq had a great game, had 31 points, 3 assists. Q started off on fire. He hit 4 threes in the first quarter, but only ended with, I think, 14 points. So he started hot but couldn't keep it up throughout the game, and that kind of hurt them as the game went on because Dylan did Dylan things, man. Dylan's been playing at a really high level. If they had more wins right now, he would definitely be in the MVP race, I think. But we have a lot of season left, so he may be right there in the mix as the season goes on. But again, he had 34 points on 9 of 16 shooting. He does everything for them. 8 rebounds, 5 assists. My guy Cameron Kirk, the plastic man, that's what I like to call him. 20 points, silky smooth game on 10 of 16 shooting. That's what you're gonna get from those two. You always get the 30 to 20 points from them. But the really thing that makes them really unique and possibly dangerous is everybody else kind of gets in where they fit in, and they really fill in their roles really, really well. They have rebounders. They have guys who play defense. They got guys who just come in and just give you good energy, and they box out. That everybody understands their role, and the more and more games they play and the more and more comfortable they get in this league, you're kind of starting to see them get better. They literally play better every single game. They got their first win. So give them a hand for getting their first win here in Cypress. And they got over a quality team, a good team in Hollywood. Hollywood's going to have to get their footing again, though, because it's not going to get any easier. And like I said, going into these next couple games, this game probably is a big game because I can see these teams having similar records down the stretch. And now that B&O has a tiebreaker over Hollywood. But we'll see what happens as the season goes along. Now, our player of the week for the first 2 weeks of the season. Like I said, dude's been playing at a very, very high level, MVP level. Tre Drye, week 1, he was 34 points, 6 rebounds and 6 assists. Well, actually, 6 rebounds and 9 assists. Excuse me, Tre. I don't mean to shite you on your stats. He's been, like I said, your rebound numbers could be a little bit better as a big guy. But as we know, man, Tre can do it all, man. He's a guard out there playing the 5 most of the time. And then he came back the next week, and they needed every bit of what he gave them the next week with 23 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists. Dude's been playing out of his mind. Now, we didn't get that same performance in the 3rd game of the season. So I'm thinking he probably won't get player of the week this week. But, he still had a good stat line. I think he had 16 points and 7 rebounds. But first 2 weeks, got to give it up for Tre. Player of the week and early season MVP candidate. Absolutely. And he'd probably be the favorite if they continue to win. Now, this week, like I said, my guy, Dylan Springens, had a 34-point game. I can see him being right there. Josh had the most dominant game of the week, I believe, and he would probably get my vote. 20 rebounds, 20 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 blocks for Josh. And it was one more. Who had a really, really good week? Oh, Chase. Chase with another big week with the third 3-point. Very efficient, 8 of 13 from the 3-point line, third 3 points. Chase looking like a first-teamer again. Dude been playing out of his mind. And if you don't know, you will know. Chase is one of them dudes, man. He's playing at a very, very high level, and I don't see that changing. Now, for the part that you guys have been waiting for, my picks for the week. We got B&O versus Team Vibes. I got B&O here 82-78, and my reason for picking this is we got 2 teams going 2 different directions. Team Vibes coming off a couple blowout losses. I think if Carrington plays at a high level, and like I said, my guy Rio probably have to go for 35-40. Efficient 35-40, though. Not a 35, 40-point game where he's 8 of 26. He's have an efficient game. They'll have a shot. By what I saw for B&O, I don't think they have an answer for Dylan or Cameron for scoring. I'm going to go B&O here. But in a close game, I think it'll be a good game. B&O 82-78. Light work versus got options. Our next game. I'm going light work 86-80. 2 reasons. Light work played well and lost. Got options played bad last week and lost. So both teams lost, but going in different directions. Light work also kind of, they have a little blood on their lip, and I don't think they like the taste of blood. And I think they like to draw blood instead of taste their own blood. So I think they definitely come out. They're going to probably jump on got options early. Can got options weather the storm? It all kind of depends on, like I say, I think they have a good supporting cast. I think Jeff will do what he's supposed to do. DJ will do what he's supposed to do. Joe could go out there and put up 30 himself. I think we'll be fine. I think it really come down to Tre. If Tre plays at MVP level, they'll have a shot. If he plays at a borderline all-star level, a really good player level, I think Lightwork walks away with it. And I think it's simple as that. And I think, look, it's going to be hard anyway because, like I say, Lightwork's going to be motivated this week. They're going to be motivated to win after taking that loss last week. So I think it's going to be a really good, well-played game. But I'm going to get Lightwork the edge 86-80. Next, we have All There versus Hollywood. Kind of the same thing. 1 and 2 teams here. I'm going to go All There and maybe the best game of the night in the sense of what the score may be. And the reason why I say that is, yes, Shaq had a great game, 31-point game last week. He probably have to do something similar tomorrow. We'll see if Scooter's there tomorrow. That'll be a huge. But what I think it is, I think if Jarvis plays at a high level, he passes the ball well, does his scoring. I think I like what I saw at All There last. It's just recency bias. I like what I saw at All There last week, which I think will kind of translate a week later to this week. I'm going All There here, 89-88. All right, Cellulas in our game of the week. versus hip hop and roll. The new kids on the block versus the old dogs. And the old dogs that have not been dethroned, per se. We have actually two defending champions playing this season. And Cellulose is the new kids on the block. And they have an opportunity to knock off both defending champions in back-to-back weeks. They beat Lightwork last week, got their first win over them against the only team that's ever beaten them. Now they're playing the other defending champ from the season before in hip hop and roll this week. I'm going to take the new dog here. I'm going to take the new dog. I think Chase is going to have a big game. I think Rose will do what he does. I actually like what I saw at hip hop and roll. They look very close to what I've known them look the last few seasons they've played. But I really like what I saw at Ellis last week. I think they're going to come out strong. They're going to play a great game. So I'm going to give the slight edge to Ellis here in an 89-86 Ellis. And a great game and possibly game of the night. It's already the game of the week per se. All right. Live here from an undisclosed area. I think it's going to be a great week per se. But I'm going to head out of here. I'm going to let you guys play the game, and we'll call it. Don't be mad at me about my picks. Love you guys regardless. Anyway, live here from an undisclosed area.